We start off with the Blueprint newspaper this morning, and on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper, we can see the big story there that says how Miyetti Allah can help solve nation's security challenges, and this according to the Sultan. Laments involvement of some Fulanis in banditry. Troops kill 4 bandits in Chikun. Gunmen kill 2 in Ondo. Zamfara anti-thuggery body cautions youth during campaign. The details of that on page 20. We also have on page 13, 2 arrested over illegal possession of 468 PVCs in Sokoto. And on page 5, NUJ lists Sanwo-Olu, Malagi, Osoba, Obaigbena, Dokpesi, Momo, others for awards. And we have Borno female teacher arrested for alleged rape of a 4-year-old girl. What? On page 5. My shock is shocked. Anyway, still moving on, front page, Adeleke steps in as Osun Governor, Oyetola vows to return. New governor freezes government's bank accounts, makes first appointments. I left 14 billion naira in the treasury, according to Oyetola. Thugs smash Amotekun, take over motor parks. Atiku Okowa campaign team, PDP governors hail Adeleke at inauguration. We saw some very key members of the PDP at the inauguration ceremony, which held in Osun State, and some key members were absent as well. Who knows why they weren't absent? Why they weren't present? Why they weren't present at the inauguration? 2023. Why APC must replace Tinubu, and this is by Atiku on page 5. And page 25 says debt service to soar as local borrowing costs spike. Like we didn't see this coming. Page 18, substandard solar electricity products imported into the country according to Naseni. Page 9, women, youth will deliver Tinubu in 2023. And this is by Aisha Buhari. And final story on page 25, a bid court clears Zenith Bank in breach of contract. All right, that's all the story that we can take this morning on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see, read through the story, PDP's candidate, saying why the APC must replace Tinubu, because I'm sure it's not out of concern for any other thing, but maybe hoping that they replace him with nothing entirely, so he has an easier run to 2023. I'm not sure what he means. Well, but it will be a nice story to read. You can find that on the Blueprint this morning. Let's go to This Nigeria and see what we can find over there. It says here, Senate probes ministry officials for fraud. Questions 208 million naira payments in Labour Ministry. Signatures of many participants for training program appeared forged. Also, it says here, lawmakers, Permanent Secretary says due process was followed. IGP Baba to Commission Police Intelligence Center in Port Harcourt today. If you've been following the news in the last couple of weeks, the River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, has been commissioning quite a number of projects, inviting a lot of people to town. All right, NDLEA recovers 4 kilograms cocaine from Brazil returnee. And once again in Osun State, Adeleke takes over, talks tough, freezes Osun State accounts, reverses new appointments. Oyetola says, I left 14 billion naira in coffers, paid 97 billion naira debt. And of course, a picture of what it looks like across Lagos and Abuja in Nigeria with the petrol scarcities. This has gone on for this, I think, the second week now, or third week across Lagos State in Nigeria. And of course, the Federal Capital Territory. More petrol queues with no proper explanation from the Nigerian government, or not even a word from the government to explain the reasons for the petrol scarcity. But that's the situation at this point. Let's move away from Nigeria and see what we can find in South Africa. All
right, now on the front page of the newspapers, the Sowetan in South Africa. Pitbull hate speech starts to bite. Landlord kicks out racist go-go. I gave a notice to leave my property. I do not want to associate myself with the racists. We do not want such people here. The details of that's on page 2. And if you look on that at that top story, a big headline there, we can see a photograph. It's a photograph of Belinda Mago. Now, quick recap of this update. We have been following the story here of the unfortunate incidents where a pit bull mauled an 8-year-old girl to death. And as a result, there have been reactions. People have been going into houses of, going to kill pit bulls. They would kill them. They would, basically, it's just like humans against the pit bulls because of what the pit bulls have done. So as a means to sort of maybe save them, I would say, or just reduce the incidences of the harsh way in which, harsh in quote, way in which these animals were killed, a lot of people owners started returning their pit bulls to the police. By my last count, I think the last time we talked about it was about 49 pit bulls that had been returned. But there was a WhatsApp group, and the voice note was leaked there.
I heard that.
And this, it was alleged that this woman had said that the animals deserve better fate than these humans, and that the black men need to be wiped out. And she talked about how they should go and cut out the uteruses of black women because they end up giving birth to black men who grow up and become these horrible people. And everybody was wondering, how did she come into such conclusions? We're in 2022 and we're having conversations about racism in South Africa of this magnitude. I mean, there is endemic systemic racism, but just being able to come out blatantly and say, go out there, kill the men, bring out the women's uteruses so that they can't procreate, it's just a really sad update. Anyway, she's been given quick notice, and the landlord says, I do not want to associate myself with the racists. We do not want such people here. At the top of the paper, we have Walu's poser for minister on page 4. Tete puts hope in B sample on page 19, I beg your pardon. And that says drug mule still alive on page 6. That's all the update we can take in South Africa. And let's head over to Kenya.
All right, quickly, just a few stories on the Daily Nation in Kenya this morning. See what's going on in East Africa. It says here, protest, ODM leader announces rallies in support of 4 besieged IEBC commissioners. Of course, it's a fresh face-off between William Ruto and Raila Odinga, it seems. It says also revealed as Mayo Laumoja's One Kenya's 3-pronged approach to defend itself and deal with renegades as it counters President William Ruto's charm offensive in coalition strongholds. Also on the Daily Nation this morning, all ready as grade 6 class 8 exams start. And also maize imports, farmers protest fall on deaf ears. You can also find a couple of articles on the Daily Nation this morning. Hustler Fund, why defaulting on the hustler loans will be costly affair for borrowers. That's on page 8. If you've taken a loan in Kenya and you are one of those who have been or who took one of the hustler loans, then they're telling you about why defaulting on the hustler loan will be costly for borrowers. These are the stories that we have time for on the Daily Nation this morning.